testing. Testing, 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 What is going on, everybody? We are back with another live stream, studio sessions. If you're new here, I am Designer Malcolm, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this space. Glad to have you here. This specific series, we will be doing a little bit of vibe coding, right? As well as some design tips and strategies that help implement into your next project. So glad to have you here. If you're new here, we talk about design from fashion to software to UI, as well as anything that we feel like it, to be honest. Today, I want to talk about something, I didn't really feel like live streaming today. And it's only day 4. It's crazy. But why I bring that up is it's important to show up even when you don't feel like it, because, you never know who's counting on you. You never know who is watching, but also it's a good exercise to be resilient and to keep persevering despite how you feel. So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here. And I hope you enjoy this content. So yesterday, this is going to be kind of off the cuff. We were looking at the project that I'm working on called Builder. That's what we'll call that Builder for now. And ultimately, we ran into some hiccups. I wasn't able to deploy it locally. And so we're going to look into that today. What I did was I managed to um, kind of read over some of the documentation that I had. I used ChatGPT here and really think about and kind of refresh my memory on what it was I was trying to implement. And I think it's important to always try and document your stuff and make sure you can have sort of a good source of truth to leverage just in case you're working on multiple things. But let's go ahead and I'm going to pull this project up here. I don't have it queued up, so just bear with me for a minute as I kind of work on this and get it queued up. If you're feeling the vibes, this is kind of my vibe. I'm over here on the East Coast, so it's a little late. I like to go for something a little mellow, pretty laxed. This will be a quick live stream today. I won't go too hard. Probably an hour. Just see how we feel, see how we vibing. This is fresh off the cuff, so you're gonna see it live here. You're gonna watch me build something live here. But let me go ahead and share this code, this repository I got for you guys. So, all right. So, essentially, what we're looking at is a scaffolding tool, is what I'm building, right? And yesterday, I brought up an example of, I guess you could call him a competitor, but let's see, we don't want that. That's all Skype or Stripe info. 5 day. So this is where my idea is based off of, and I just discovered them probably a few months ago. This specific tool here, it's called 5 day sprint. And one of the unique things about this tool is if you are a builder and you're in the space, essentially what they've what what they've done is they've created a way to um, produce a script for you to copy and paste into your IDE, no matter what that is. And that script is basically defined based off of your idea, right? Like if you want to build a mobile app that tracks people's calories, or if you want to build a web app that allows people to store documents, it takes you through a specific framework that they have, which is a series of steps. I don't really know their framework, but what I loved about this specific example or this specific tool was a little different than what was out there. And what do I mean by that? Well, most of the things out there are kind of glorified wrappers, and you kind of have this camp. You have these tools that are used for builders, and um, a lot of them are just wrappers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then you have some tools that are kind of really pushing the boundaries, that are what a lot of this industry is built off of, right? And that's your big hitters, right? And somewhere in between there, you have a new, I would say, not a resurgence, but this new wave of people who are getting into this this space of building software or building tools, whether it be for a business or for themselves. And they have no design experience and they have no technical experience, which is fine, but they're often kind of meandering through this field of tools, and meandering through YouTube videos just to find out what works. And typically, what ends up happening is you land in one or two places. You go kind of hard, where you pick up the skill, you learn to vibe code with a little bit of, I guess, coding knowledge. It's mainly vibe coding, and you use a tool that is a little more robust. So your VS codes, your copilots, your cursors, which is what we use here. And then you have the other camp that kind of goes sort of the other direction, where you kind of have this, it's just like all in one, right? All in one platform. I'm not sure if you guys ever been to those restaurants, and some of them are good, but there's like usually diners are this way. They serve you everything and they're good, right? Like you can go get a burger or you can go get a steak at a diner and it'll be decent. Or you can go and get a steak at, I don't know, Poppy Steak or Ruth's Chris or whatever. And it's a little more refined and a little more on point. And I bring up that analogy because usually the easier approach to building something usually doesn't set yourself up for success in the long run. Now, these tools like Lovable, these tools like Replit, they're great. They're great to get your idea out quickly. But I usually try and recommend that you kind of start with the more refined approach first because it'll pay off in the long run. I recently built a tool. Actually, I'll show you guys it. I'm not sure if it's still up. Let's see here. Tool that I built a long time ago. I think it is. It's still up. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see if I got the. Let's see. Oh no, I disconnected the back end. Sorry guys. Anyway, I had a tool that I built. It was an app. It was for a service-based business. It's probably a good idea if someone wants to run with it. Message me and I'll give you the sauce if you're really serious about if you're about it and you want to run a software tool. Happy to share that with you. But my point that I'm trying to make is I used Replit to build this tool, and it was great, right? It was moving along, it was chugging along, and you know what happened? I just got kind of stuck in their ecosystem and ended up breaking my application as we got to a certain level, which kind of sucked. So I don't want to sit here and bash Replit and say it was sabotage, but it's kind of interesting to go from a working app after you've built it for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. In this case, it was about a few weeks to one day it just not working, right? So it was kind of weird. And it was really hard to leverage or to have some visibility into the nuances of the application that I wish I had. Perhaps that's changed. Perhaps their software is a little better now. But at the time, I didn't have the flexibility that I did with just a natural IDE or maybe just using a terminal. And it was frustrating. And it ended up costing me, I was spending probably 30, $40 every day trying to fix and debug. And that's where a lot of these companies get their money is through credits. They make their money through credits, right? These platforms. So I say all that to say, if you want to get something out quickly, you want to get a solid MVP, these tools are great. But if you want to build something more substantial, something with some meat, highly recommend going straight to a Cursor or a Windsurf or the other ones that are out there. I like Cursor. Cursor's the OG. I used to use VS Code. So anyway, you got these two camps, these two camps. And what ends up happening is if you go the route of Cursor, right, which is the route that I go, what you realize is you're kind of left or you encounter this blank canvas that can really build anything. It can build anything. And if you don't have any sort of plan, if you don't have plan, if you don't have, I would say having some sense of context of what you're trying to attack. I would also recommend if you don't have any idea of the just even basic frameworks or of what's out there, like different types of backends or how a backend is set up or how a front end is set up, it can be quite daunting, right? And it can be intimidating. So that's where this tool comes in. And this tool, what it does is it allows you to input your ideas. And when you put those ideas in, and it takes you through its whole framework, its whole process. It's multi-step. Once you put those ideas in, at the end, it spits out pretty much a code. It's really I want to say it's like a JSON package, right? And you can copy that and put that in any tool. Cursor, I think you can even put it in Lovable if you want, or Bolt. And what that'll do is it'll start to scaffold your project. Now, what does scaffolding mean? Well, it's scaffolding is an architectural term, right? And funny enough, in development, you have architecture, right? You have the architecture of your project, and essentially what that is describing is what what frameworks, what tools, what dependencies. So dependencies are blocks of repositories and code that can do certain things to help your application function, right? What's necessary to help you deliver the idea that you're building, right? Is there going to be authentication in the front end, right? Is there going to be messaging within the application, right? And there's a lot of tools out there. And funny enough, it's quite amazing when I started to get into development. The open source community is wonderful. I highly recommend if you can go down some rabbit holes. And I'm actually open if you guys know some good guys to follow on uh, on GitHub. It's incredible to see what's available for you to build from. A lot of, I would say, industry standard applications. Most of them use some sort of open source component, and then they usually build on that and improve that to and tailor it to their own specific project or software. But it's really cool to see. And so what this tool does is it builds that scaffolding for you with these. They're called dependencies. When you start building stuff, you need to install dependencies, and these dependencies allow your application to take shape and to take form and to whatever you want to build. And that scaffolding part does take a little bit of knowledge, and it takes knowledge because you may not know how to code, which is fine, but if you don't know what to communicate with the AI tool itself and give it some context of what you're trying to achieve, building out the scaffolding can be kind of buggy, right? If you just say, hey, I want a message in that, blah, 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 you'll get there, but you will still have to take, it's like taking a block of marble and just slowly like chiseling it away to get, that beautiful piece of art that you're looking for. This tool, and I haven't used theirs, so um but what we're building, what you're going to see me build, and eventually it's going to be released to my community to use, and it'll be one of my tools. I'm trying to keep my tools that I'm building this year and next year very limited. I don't want to overstretch myself. So this will be a industry grade tool that's inspired by 5 Day Sprint. It's going to have our own framework. If you're new here, I am a product designer. So I've been a product designer for multiple years, and I've done graphic design, done product design, done product management. And through my time, I've learned different tips and tricks. I've learned different processes. So essentially what our tool is going to do is have our own um, framework. I'm not ashamed to say inspired by this. So you in my community, if you guys want to build something, you'll be able to put your idea in, add in your requirements, and it'll spit out a line of code that you'll go ahead and be able to paste. Now we're gonna get a little techie here, and I want to kind of help you understand what's happening in the back end, because I had to refresh my mind. So I'm by no means an expert here, but what's happening in the back end, and let me see if I can pull it up here in my I'm off on another screen here, just looking at my documentation to provide some context. All right, so bear with me. Just give me a moment. All right, so essentially what's happening is if it's a it's a boilerplate generator is really what it is. To help you guys understand, if you're not familiar with coding, a boilerplate is usually like It's a package of tools that can allow you to get whatever application or idea you want built quickly, so you can just immediately install that. And I think there's a couple guys out here that actually make money doing this. This guy named Levels, I think he does this, and his let's see if I can find this. Once again, this is all live off the cuff. I don't have things pre-planned, so just bear with me. See if I can pull this up. Levels. There's levels to this. All right, let me pull this up here. This dude is cooking, man. All right, let me see what we got here. Shout out to this dude, Levels, bro. Definitely shout out to this dude. Let's see. Let me pull him up here. I don't know this dude at all. He's just in that space, right? Oh, follow me on Twitter, by the way. Real quick. If you're spending some time with me, show your boy some love. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. No, I'm not on TikTok. Just go ahead and support me, man. Support the channel. Thumbs up is great. What's up, Void? Glad to see you here, man. Appreciate the support. Just kind of going over some stuff here. But so this guy Levels, he built, I think it was him. He built a tool that was pretty much a boilerplate package that he has. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, we did. What's up, Void? We did play some Apex. Yeah, man, that was some good times. I'm on Overwatch now. That's what I do. I do Overwatch when I get a little bit of free time, man. You still doing Apex? And I remember I've been good, bro. I appreciate you, man. I'm starting a live stream journey. You're still on the are you on the Switch still, or did you move over to an Xbox, or where you at, bro? Hey, that's good, man. That's good. Nice. Well, dude, congrats. I'm glad you're in school. You know, a lot of people like to shit on school, man. They like to say, "Oh, don't go to college." Man, some of the best moments I had in the past was in college, man. I tell people to go to school. Um, it's great. You make friends there. You can build a good network there. So good on you, bro. Stick with it. Make the most of it. You know, it's such a brief time in your life, so make the most of it, my man. And you won't regret it, man. Good to chat with you. Send me a DM or a message, bro. We'll link up. I'm pretty busy now too. I'm building software full time, but if we could find a little moment, bro, I'd be down to hop on some Apex, you know. But yeah, shoot me a DM. All right, guys. So yeah, back to the live. That was my boy there. We ran into each other a while back. But Levels, let's see if I can find. So I can't find his his work. But anyway, he created a website that allows you to essentially, let's see if this is it. No, it's his merch. He's getting an epic plug for me. What is it? I really want to show you guys this. Yeah. All right. Anyway, his website, he sells a boilerplate website, and I think he generates a few million. I don't know. I could be pulling that out of my ass, but I know he's like really successful. I did some traffic, and if you just do some really simple numbers here, you'll be able to, I mean, convert and get an idea of what he's charging. But essentially, he sells a boilerplate, and the reason why this is a good approach here, and I think we're in a gold rush, is if you sell to if you sell the shovels, right, you're more likely to position yourself fairly well in the market. And I wasn't sharing my screen at all that time. Damn. Sorry. Hold up. And what we're going to see here in the next coming years is we're going to see a lot of people into this space that are builders, right? They're going to be building. They're going to want to build software, and it's only going to become easier. And my goal is to help make that easier for them. And so that's what we're building today. So back to the idea that this tool, it's called Builder for now. What it does, so how is this working, right? Let's analyze this. And this is what I had to do. And honestly, I'll take you through my thought process when you want to build something yourself. And look, if you're new to building, you're coming at the right time. You don't need to. And when I say build, I mean make software right now. I'm specifically talking about making software. You don't need to know how to code at all. We live in an era you don't need to know how to code at all. I was just a pure designer. I just made things look pretty. But one thing as a designer, what you learn how to do is you learn how to search for problems, because designing is all about solving problems. And you learn how to break apart products. This, in the tech world, we call a product, right? Product is a tool that someone uses. So when I came across this tool, I wanted to understand it, because for me, the biggest pain point that I had, and I just started coding this year, vibe coding, whatever you want to call it. And my very first project, and I'll share that with you guys another time. It was very, very daunting, because I would try and one shot. There's a term called one shot, where you put everything in this tool. So this is what I use. I use Cursor, and let me see if I can show you guys what that looks like. So you can launch these agents, right? Typically, when you start, you'll get an agent, and it'll be like this is what it'll look like, just blank. And actually, before they had this agent view, it used to look a little something like. Let me see if I can change the theme. Let's go with the light. That's the one we like. If any of you guys are using Cursor, let me know if you guys has it been buggy for you guys, because it has been buggy. I don't know what. I'm still true, still stay true. I never switch up on the team, but damn, is it buggy. Um, anyway, there used to be a way to toggle between your views here. Um, okay, this was like the original view. All right, I guess they put that there. So typically you'll get into a project, and it'll be just like this. It'll look just like this, right? Um, let's close all of these. And then you'll have your terminal. So the old cursor used to be like this. And a lot of people like to code within the terminal. This is cool. I mean, shout out to Bridgemine. He does this. He has a bunch of these little terminals going, and he's just like the Matrix, man. Like, dude is on another level. Um, I have a more simple approach. Now I'll get 3 or 4 of these agents going, and I that's enough for me to manage. Like, I can't, and it's fine. Like, I don't need to manage 300 agents, because it starts to get messy. Like, I like clear, um, I guess like a sequential approach. It's just easy for my brain to effectively um, build things. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can be the savant who has 30 agents going, and you can be the person who just kind of checks things off one at a time. It doesn't really matter, because all that matters is someone going to pay you to use your tool. At the end of the day, like, that's all that matters. So how you build, what your workflow is, none of that matters. At the end of the day, it's what you produce and whether or not that brings value to the market. So keep that in mind. So if a lot of you guys are like going to ask me, oh, what's the best model? What's the best this? I don't know. I don't really care. They're all similar in my opinion. Some do better things than others, but like, at the end of the day, we're trying to build something and get it out there. Like, that's the kind of energy you guys should come with. If you spend your time trying to figure out what the best tool is, or you know, that's time you could be spending on building something that's meaningful. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really good to have your ear to the culture, right? Have an idea of what's out there, kind of allow yourself to know what's going on. But sometimes you got to turn off the noise and you got to lock in. And I've been building this same way. I learned from a guy, he showed me, and I've been building this same way for the most of the year, until Cursor 2.0 came out and started having all these agents. But there's multiple ways. But when you get to a project, it'll look like this. And typically what'll happen is you won't have anything to go with. It'll just be blank, right? This left column will be empty. This right column will be, it'll be an agent. So you'll just talk to it. And then your terminal will be empty too, right? And so we can go ahead and delete these. These are like old terminals. We'll launch a new one so you know what it looks like. This terminal is what's called a CLI. I think it's like content language something, context language interface, computer language interface or something. Like I said, I'm not a developer, but this is how you communicate with your IDE and with your computer itself. And so you'll start here and you'll say, hey, build me this. Now, this won't be as powerful as a Lovable at first, because it's very much it's a hybrid manual slash AI approach to it, whereas like a Lovable is just a one shot, get it all done. And so as you put your idea in here, it will start to flesh out code. And the problem with that is if you just put your idea in here, you don't have any sort of clear direction, and you can kind of end up kind of everywhere, right? And part of building software is understanding that you need to build things sequentially, or you need to build things according to a process, because what that allows you to do, it allows you to stay on track. It's easy to get off track with software, because there's so many nuances that are happening. And if you make one wrong turn, the software could just crash on you, could crap on you. So this is where our tool comes in, and we mitigate that with our tool. So let me launch this bad boy. And I think what I was going to explain to you guys is what's going on under the hood here first. So before I hop into our tool, let me kind of show you guys what we got. So the way this is working is you have what's called a you're creating these packages, and these packages they're going to be stored in our own database, our own repository, and they're going to be extremely modular. What does that mean? Well, if you have an idea and the next guy has a different idea, there might be slight differences there. So one package or one code that's developed for you won't work for him, even though you guys might both need some sort of authentication element or what have you. And so the structure of this is quite simple, but also quite complex. But what we're looking here to do is to build out a massive library of these. They're called. I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, they're just basically templates and generators, right? So we're building up a library of these generators, and the user will call on this with our code, and they'll put that into here, so they can put it either in their terminal, so they can run a command in their terminal, or they can run it through their agent, and then that will scaffold all of your code here. So right now, what you see to the left here, these are just proposed changes from my repository. But essentially what you would see is this. So all this will start to flesh out for you automatically. And so what we're doing here is we're taking something that usually would be maybe, a few hours or even a few days for most people to get something built, and we're stripping all that down to minutes. And I'm really excited about this because this is going to be game changer for the next wave of builders. Now, the goal here, just so you know, the goal here isn't to build the next cursor, the next Lovable. The goal here is to build, I would almost describe it as like a perk, right? It's a perk to your already existing tools. It's an improvement to your workflow, and it helps you get to your destination faster, right? It's like, to me, I like to make this analogy. Think of cursors like a sniper rifle without a scope, right? I mean, that's a powerful tool, but you add a scope to it, now you got range. And so I like to think of our tool as like a scope, right? It helps you scope in on your idea, your concept, and it really elevates and speeds up your idea to, deliverables process much faster. So anyway, what we're going to do is this tool is going to have a bunch of different dependencies and generators that exist in it. And the CLI will assemble what's needed based on the specs. And so those specs will be, what a user puts in here. And then it'll generate that code for you. And then you can paste it in to your application. And then you'd publish. We're going to publish this to NPM, and then you would run it. And then that'd be a good place to get you going. So that's pretty much what it is in a nutshell from a quick, fast description there. So let's hop in the weeds. Let's get this thing launched and see where we can improve. I know last time we were here, we were trying to get it to work locally. I had it launched locally before, but I did run into some challenges. So let's see if we can get this thing launched locally. All right, I like my agent view. Okay, so we left off last. This was cool. This is a feature that they add in the plan mode. Is these questions that they ask you. So let's see what's going on here. So what I like to do is, I'm lazy, right? When we got these tools, I'm lazy. So I like to take these questions and I like to take them and paste them right over in the chat GPT. I mean, it's badass what we can do. I can have AI build AI for me, which is amazing. So let's do this. So we're gonna take these questions. Essentially, what the problem that I came across was we were having a build error, and the build error was derived from me running an npm build, and it looked like we had some duplicate files here, and that's a challenge because what we're trying to do is just see. And let me see if I can. We're just trying to see it in action for now. Let me see if I can run this build. So we'll do an npm run dev here. Let's see, it should be on port 3000. Let's see. So essentially, what I've done here is I've gotten the UI in a good place, but I don't think it's gonna launch. We'll see. It should. If you're not using Brave, you guys are sleeping. Look at this. Look, it's saved me 20 hours, 8 gigabytes of bandwidth, over 1.5 million blockers. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're in the game. Let's go. So the build, it does work. So now we can play around with it. I typically I like to get some UI going, because if you've watched my other videos in the past, the UI, I'm a visual person, and it allows me to kind of think as a user. So I love to flesh out the UI, and it what it does is it helps drive development decisions in a lot of way. Remember yesterday we were kind of talking about workflow or user flows. This allows you to kind of visually see user flows, right? Remember we had talked about there was there's a few things you have with your user flows. You have your high fidelity, low fidelity, right? Usually it starts at low fidelity and then it goes to high. So the beautiful thing with AI is you can immediately launch into a high fidelity UI. Now, granted, there's no logic here at all. There's nothing in place. There's no API routes, but I can start to click around and get things, get the wheels turning here. So just keep in mind, this is going to look way different. It's going to look fire. I'm telling you, I'm too saucy with it. So don't get stuck on design. And I tell you that because you don't want to get stuck on design in the early days. You want to focus on functionality and user flows. So don't get hung up on the colors. Like all this is trash, right? This all looks like every other AI SaaS tool out there. But don't let that stop you. We want this to be our high fidelity mockup. And it's almost cool because the old way of doing things is you would get into Figma and then you would click around in Figma or make your screens in Figma and draw lines and shit to the other board. That's a waste of time. Like Figma's great to doodle in, and I know Figma's got some sick tools, MCPs, but you don't need that. Like we're all about speed here. Do that on the weekend. So we got Builder, and cool thing, I was struggling last night with what to call this. And I would say about 2 years ago, I managed to secure the domain userinterface.ai. I'm pretty sure that damn domain is like a few $100s now, at least. But I was thinking about what to call this tool. And I was like, Builder, every tech company drops the vowel and adds the consonant at the end. I was like, nah. So we're just going to go hard. So this is called user interface AI. But for now, we'll worry about that later. So let's hop into this and let's see what we got. So we can click on start building. It should open up the dashboard and just we can get a visual. And if you're new here, my name is Designer Malcolm. I'm a designer and product designer. And this series is called Studio Sessions. And in Studio Sessions, we're going to vibe code some fire. That's what we're here to do. I'm here to help educate you guys, inspire you guys. And I want you guys to provide feedback and inspiration for me as well. You know, this is a community that we're trying to build here. So if you like the content, just please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I got a community coming. We have this tool coming, and you guys are gonna watch me build this from the ground up. This ain't right now. This is bunk. Nothing works, but you're gonna see it come to life. All right, so let's hop into Builder. So Builder, we have our main page here. Let's see what we got. So none of that works. New project, none of this works, but we can kind of see what we're trying to achieve here. So the goal is we're gonna have our process. So as a user, you come in, and this will explain to you. I should probably change this because we're not 5-day sprint. Sorry, 5-day sprint. Like I said, it's all good, man. We're in America. We compete, right? But just so you know, I got my inspiration from here. There's no shame. The important thing is you don't want to copy, right? You want to take inspiration. And we're in our own safe space here, and nothing's published. This is all local host. And quite frankly, we're gonna probably come out better than this, but we did take inspiration from here. And that's what I tell you guys to do, is to take inspiration from incumbents, from companies that are already doing the thing that you want to do. Take inspiration from them and make your stuff 1% better. That's all you got to do. And that 1% can be in design. That 1% can be in functionality. You can serve an entirely different problem here. So we did 5-day sprint or whatever. That's what I reference this is. But what this is going to do is, as a user comes in, it's going to explain our process. Now we're gonna create our own proprietary process here, and this is kind of how I approach everything anyway. Is the define, build, and deploy method, right? You define, research your market, analyze your competitors, you build it, and you deploy it. And the beautiful thing is this application is going to take you through all of that before it spits out your one slick little code that you can go and copy and paste in here and start to scaffold your project. Pretty powerful. So it takes a 5-day development process to 2 minutes. So anyway, we're going to have this set up, and what we're looking to achieve here is just to we want to think about the customer, right? The customer journey. And it's important to think about the customer journey is because if they pay you, right, there's a level of responsibility you have. And I'm going to preach this till I'm blue in the face, but you always want to do right by your customer. You never want to screw over your customer. Pitsu says, isn't this like oversaturated? I mean, the AI tool niche really started to spread. Hey, that's a good question. But what I have to say is get in a plane and take a flight and look over America, just America, and you'll see that there's millions of people. And if you go into something with the mindset of, is this saturated? You'll never be successful because you're worried about other people and you're not worried about your customer. I mean, one could say, like, isn't fast food burger joints, aren't those saturated, right? Who cares? Who cares, right? Like what's the point of worrying about that? Because at the end of the day, the people really using AI every day is a small minority. The mass majority of people don't use AI. So it's easy to get kind of tunnel vision and stuck in your internet ecosystem and think that what you see on TikTok and what you hear on Instagram is what the world is thinking. And I promise you, they're not. They're probably using ChatGPT to make cat videos. So is it saturated? Probably. Do I care? No. Why? Why would I care about that? Like, if I have a specific problem that I'm solving for a specific individual or a group of people, and they find value in it, yeah. Here's another good example for you. Think about how many. This is a thought challenge. Think about how many form builder tools that are out there. There's Typeform. There's, or actually, we just even go a level lower. There's like how many calendar tools out there? Calendly, Acuity, Google Calendars. Like, yeah, man. I mean, anyway, I just want you to I want you to think about this and think differently. Don't think about what's saturated. Think about what value can you bring to a specific audience. And quite frankly, I could take this tool and niche down even further to a specific audience and really tailor it to them. Like this could be specific to designers, right? It doesn't have to be to, I think you defined it as, um, AI tool niche. Yeah, if it's all about who you can serve and if you can serve them the best. Um, so as we kind of look through this, this is our framework, right? And like I said, we're not here to replace Cursor. We're not here to put in one-shot tools. We're here to produce that scaffolding script. That's the goal of this tool. So you would then come here, and I think back to this homepage is what I was getting at is that um, if a user swipes their credit card, you want to make sure that that onboarding experience is very, very, very seamless. So you want to provide them, clarity on what you do, what problem you're solving. This is your chance to reiterate what problem you're solving, perhaps provide some content here. So we'll definitely add some video, demo stuff here, kind of going over the product itself as well. And so then the next one, and if you look over here in my sidebar menu, we have it broken up. This whole tool is broken up into our own framework. So we have our define, right? So the next tool here is the project. So, and I think I kind of want to add some more clarity to this tool just so people are aware is what we're building here is we're building a pretty much a boilerplate generator is what we're building just to simplify it. And this boilerplate generator allows you to take that one piece of code or line of sentence and paste it to get your project started, right? And so how does that work? So we start with our research. So we can put in some a project title here. We can add some context here. Also add additional URLs and references. And so we're going to probably have some AI working in here, working in the background. We're going to have to set up some APIs here, right? Because the goal is we need this tool to be able to reference and research our research context. We're probably going to need a scraper here, right? There's a few scrapers out there. So this tool, so as if you notice, I'm kind of going through a user flow here. And as I go through a user flow, I'm thinking also about the nuances in the back, right? The logic, the APIs or the tools that are needed. And so we're going to need that. So let's go on to the next here. So this section here is where a user can really distill the features that they're looking to have in their application, right? Map interface. Oh, that's cool. So it added this for us. So do you need an interactive map, location clustering, etc., right? Does it need directory management, right? And I'm thinking because we don't know the skill level of our users, we're probably going to want to have some sort of tooltip or some sort of AI assistance here that can help the user make the proper decision, right? So we're gonna have to flesh this out and think about the features. Does it need community features, user reviews? So this is cool. So all this is gonna require, a decent lift, but all in all, we're gonna want to make sure that this experience is smooth, right? We don't want the user to get hung up here or caught up here. And then add user feedback. Okay. Once again, this is all MVP, right? This is all prototype. There's no, I like to call it piping in the background. Nothing is communicating, no API calls. All right, next, the thing we prompt the user is integrations. So this is cool. So these are some of the integrations that I currently use, but there's so many, right? And we're gonna wanna have all of them. I want this to be the beast, right? We wanna have all the integrations, everything, all in one, so the user can find the best solution for their tool. Right now, we have Verso, Supabase, right? And so we'll have to provide some context for people. But I think through this process, having an AI aid could be great, something to think about. So if you're new to this, you don't know what the hell Supabase is or what Clerk is, it'll allow you to have some sort of tool to, communicate with. So These are integrations, and there's going to be infinite ones more. Well, there's render, there's a lot of stuff. There's some ORMs, which are object relation management tools, I believe, like Drizzle and Prism, which essentially talk to your database. It's like an AI tool. So we're gonna want to have integrations for that. So as we flesh this out, it'll get better. Then we take the user to the next step, which is AI models. So for here, we have some AI models. So this essentially what this is asking the user is, hey, do you want to integrate some AI models into your tool? I think at this point now, if you're not putting AI in your software, you're going to be left behind. These LLMs are meant to help improve your user experience. They have access to just knowledge bases and technology that can really amplify what you're offering. So here, they'll be able to pick a provider. As you know, there's a ton of them. I recently dug deep into this open router tool, and I thought this was pretty neat. If any of you guys know about it, have some insight on it, let me know. But I kind of liked it. It seemed like it was here, I'll pull it up here. It was a tool that allows you to connect to multiple AI LLMs, like over 300 of them, which is pretty slick. And it seems like it cycles through the best ones for you. So we might even use this in our tool, but right now we want to allow our user to select this. So having some context there for them would be great. All right. So this seems to talk about generation type. Both chat and image generation. So this seems to be something that we want to allow you to either, okay, here it is, both chat and image. Okay. So chat and image, if you want that, select that, and then you can add some additional context. I think what's important here is we might want to explore allowing the user to have dictation. I think dictation is good. There's a lot of great tools out there. OpenAI has a dictation tool, and so you can just speak your context. And then the final step here is the review. So it'll have all your stuff, and then it'll have your services and links. We'll have to look through this a little bit, and then once that's all uploaded, you click generate, and then it should give you your code there. So that's what a new project would look like. Now we need a place for these projects to live, and that's where projects come in. And I don't think we have this fleshed out yet, but let's take a look. Yeah, so that's a dead link. Yeah, that's a dead link. Let's see if we can load up. Marketing, that's a dead link. We're not in the business of building any sort of marketing tool, so we might try and work with someone or connect with another software here, but I think that could be interesting once we flesh that out. So additionally, we have deep research. I don't know if that's okay. That's cool. So deep research, this is cool. This is essentially your research space. So if you're just really trying to find ideas, things to build, problems to solve, you can start here. You can have it generate SaaS ideas for you. So this will be cool. So we're going to probably want to connect to Perplexity's engine here. So there's Sonar engine, right? I think it's called Sonar as their model, but that's a good search tool. I think this will be great. We might want to add some other components here or other features here where a user can, have research files that they can review and see. So we need to think about that. We have the lab. Let's see what the lab is, see if that's fleshed out. All right. So this was the designer in me. So yeah, you can come in here and perhaps make a wireframe. yeah, wireframe, maybe sketch out ideas. I think this is good for the more as visual learners. Um, and perhaps we can think of some additional tools here that we can leverage. Um, this could be something really interesting. Um, this can help you map out user flows, mermaid diagrams. So that's good. Let's see how we're doing on time. We're about 8:14. So I got just a couple more minutes here. I'm gonna before I wrap up, but we're gonna go through this UI a little bit more, and then the next time we'll actually get to coding and fleshing out some ideas and start getting things built. But yeah, this is cool. We gotta that this is what I mean. When you start building, it's easy to have like you want all the things, right? All the things in your application. So we want to be intentional about what we have. This may or may not be important, but just because this is a pet project, but it will, with the goal of it turning into something for my community, we'll keep it. And I think this could provide some value to users, given that it's a a whiteboard, right? And if we can figure out how this can integrate into the new project experience, so perhaps you can take your lab or your whiteboard image and upload that into your new project flow, it can kind of go from there. So we'll think that through. All right, so that's your whole define section, and essentially, what does that mean? Defining is establishing what your project is, defining who the market is, right? Who you're trying to build for, what tool you're trying to build, and this is all of the components in here are intended to help you with that. The build section. So this is kind of everything that's going to help aid you in building. Right now, it's important to know that you're not building inside of this tool. Um, it's and this is what I mean by we're kind of we're we understand what our lane is and we're going to stay in that lane, right? We're not trying to be another building tool, but we're trying to be the scope to your rifle. And I think that's an important distinction here because we're not trying to compete with Cursor. We're not trying to compete with I think anti-gravity now is a new one, Claude Code. No, we don't care about that. We're trying to help the person who wants to build a tool get to their idea faster, right? You can already get there pretty fast with the tools that exist today. But the reality of it is as more and more people learn how to use these tools, there's a curve you have to overcome, right? There's an amount of time you have to put in to really get deadly with this, right? To get savvy, to get um, to get quite effective. And so that's an important distinction here that we want to make sure that we communicate to our users is like we're not meant to replace your current build tool. We're meant to help, right? So anyway, that's how we have this section. So now we have our build. So what does that mean? Well, as you're working in your tool, maybe you have some prompts that you want help with, right? You want to figure out how to prompt a specific landing page, right? Now you can have all of that existing in here. And that's the other value that this tool is. I mean, this is going to be your companion, right? This is going to be Copilot's companion. There's a goal here. But you can come in here, you can filter. Okay, you want design prompts, and we're going to flesh these out. We're going to find prompts, add them here. Maybe you need some database prompts, front end, back end. So this is in Claude or working in Cursor or whatever. And maybe there's a specific type of aesthetic UI you're looking for. Maybe there's a development backend you're looking for. You can come in here and you'll have all your prompts here. And we will have these prompts provided for the user. So that's the idea here. We don't have our components fleshed out. We might. Let's check. I think a component libraries would be really slick. So no, we don't have that. So we got to think about what does that mean, right? What does that component element mean? And essentially, how I see it functioning is let's look at the guys who are crushing it. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of libraries out there, but 21st Dev kind of does this. So they have all the components. So now you don't have to go to 21st Dev, right? And you don't have to go to maybe like there's a couple prompt libraries, but it'll all live in here. But anyway, um, so we'll allow this. Let's remind me later. So the cool thing, I think I shared this with you guys yesterday, is these components are you can click one and come in here and copy the prompt directly. So it would be interesting to see, maybe we offered something up to creators to maybe have the ability to submit components to our library, right? And they can either monetize them or, well, we can think that through. But that's something, and it's always important, I say, to have reference points, other companies that are doing what you want, because, excuse me, it gives you a place to start, right? Now, we don't want to copy, but we want to take inspiration from here. They have this large component library, and we want to leverage that inside of our tool, right? And then we'll have tutorials. So we all know what that is. We'll have an MCP library. I think I have this fleshed out. Let's see. Yeah, this is great. This is great. So we're in a good spot now before we actually need to start hopping in and vibe coding some of this stuff out to actually work. Once again, if you're just now joining us, thank you for spending some time here. My name is Designer Malcolm. If you're enjoying the content, like I said, please, show some love, give us a thumbs up, follow, like, and subscribe. This is a studio session series where we hop in and we build. We're going to build SaaS. And this tool that I'm talking about today is our companion. It's a companion tool that essentially what it does is it speeds up your development time. It's meant to be an addition to your current workflow. This tool is being built out of a necessity from myself, inspired by. I have to show some love, but inspired by another company that kind of does this, and so just want to make sure that I talk about that. So anyway, MCPs. Look at that. It's nice. We explain to them what an MCP is. So that's cool. But we'll have some MCPs in here. All right. We'll have our community. So this is all build tools, right? Accessible to the user. And then deploy. So deploying, we'll have projects. So these will be all your projects. I don't think we have that fleshed out. Yeah, none of this is fleshed out yet. Yeah. Okay. And then we have our marketing, favorite prompts. So we're in a good spot. Let's check out the responsiveness. So the side menu collapsed nice. That's good. We have our breadcrumbs here. Got search. Search inputs working. That's good. Let's check out our notification bell. So that doesn't work. This doesn't work. So this is our user icon, profile pic. That doesn't work. Let's see. New project button doesn't work. So, it does. So our new project button works. That's good. All right, cool. We're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. So let's see. Yeah. So we have all of this. Perfect. So yeah. Good thing is what we've achieved today was we have our tool, our tool kind of in a good, I would say, MVP state. It works locally, so we can go ahead and start to build this out. I think what's going to be important here moving forward is really creating a product plan, a product roadmap, um, of what to focus on next, um, and then we're going to start to implement those things. So, like I said, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoyed the live feed, I'm glad you're here. This was a quick one today. Tomorrow we will try and lock in, or we will lock in and actually start doing some vibe coding, and getting making some progress here. There is an element of planning that we need to do before this is ready for the masses, or ready for use. A lot we need to do, but out of everything I've built, this isn't too complex. So this is relatively simple. Um, we're going to want to get our branding down. I can't neglect the branding. So that's going to be key. We'll have a day where we do that. So I'll take you guys through my process there. Um, so yeah, just to kind of set expectations, some of these live streams will be me talking and explaining a lot. Some won't. Some will be just working. So you can pair code with me, pair vibe code with me. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. I'm designer Malcolm, and I am signing off. I will see you on the next one. Peace.